And it's the 28th of April 2025. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon UK time. And the answer to the question is yes. It is safe to come out from underneath the bed. Mars opposed Pluto 2 days ago. New moon happened yesterday. Mercury cleared the last stages of its retrograde shadow about 2.5 days ago. Venus has now overtaken Saturn and is about to leave Pisces in the next couple of days, where it will then conjunct Neptune. Make no mistake, we cannot go back to the way we were even 4-5 weeks ago. The world has changed, and the rate of change is now going to continue as it has been. But the intensity, the extremes of behaviour of the last few weeks, month or two, is now temporarily beginning to dissipate. We still have a very strong conjunction. We have 4 points within 5.5 degrees. The node is at 25 Pisces, Saturn's at 27 Pisces, Venus is at 28 Pisces, Neptune has just moved into 1 degree of Aries. They're all still conjunct. But Mars has moved on. The new moon has happened. Now, admittedly, the moon is going to land on Uranus in about 12 hours from now. Normally, I wouldn't pay much attention to that because the moon lands on top of Uranus every month. Just got a funny feeling that there might be 1 or 2 little stings in the tail over the next 24 hours. But we're at the end of a period that I see as the most intense and extreme period of concentrated intensity of this year. That is not to say that the rest of this year is going to be all sweetness and light, because it ain't. There's plenty more challenges coming up. But it does feel like the worst of the pressure of recent days is now decreasing. It's as if a sacrifice has been made and accepted. Now we're heading into a short-term period of relative calm. The next flashpoint, from my perspective, from my astrological perspective, will be the period at the end of the first week of June, when Mercury and Jupiter will come together at 0 degrees of Aries, squaring Saturn and Neptune at 0 degrees. Got that wrong, didn't I? Mercury and Jupiter will come together at 0 degrees of Cancer, squaring Saturn conjunct Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries. Now that is when I expect a lot of economic drama and situations to be blown wildly out of proportion. It's when I expect bond rates, currency exchange rates to wildly fluctuate. But that's not for another 5 or 6 weeks, so we can breathe. Then there's the period of early August, around the new moon. New moon or full moon? Full moon. When Mars will be at 0 degrees of Libra, opposite Saturn and Neptune, at 0 degrees of Aries. And that's a bit far away for me to be able to make forecasts for it, but there is going to be some pretty strong intensity. Mars doesn't like being in Libra, and at 0 degrees of Libra, it's going to feel that if it doesn't stand up and make a big militaristic statement, then it's going to feel like it's been emasculated. So I imagine there's going to be one or two flashpoints around that time. And then we get to September the 21st, when there will be a total, oh no, not a total, a near total eclipse of the sun at 28 to 29 degrees of Virgo. And this will be opposite Saturn and Neptune. And that's a kind of that's an on-off switch, that one. That's a yes-no, black-white. There's no negotiation, middle ground, compromise on that one. Situations will work or they won't. There will be decisions made. And I'm sure after this I can find a number of other trigger points, flash points, call them what you like, if you want me to. But I don't want to. Because after that eclipse on September the 21st, yes, okay, later in the year, Mars will pass at 0 degrees of Capricorn square, Saturn, Neptune, when 29 degrees Sagittarius, whatever. But then we've got the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, late February, and the run up to that. And that's going to be a big one. Still not the biggest one, but a big one. And that's what, by then I think the elastic would have snapped. One of the advantages of being old is that you get to recognise cycles of longevity. And I've seen presidents and prime ministers, political systems come and go, come and go. Not seen anything this extreme, not in my lifetime. Maybe the nuclear crises of '63, the Cuba Missile Crisis, but I was only 8 years old then. All I remember about that is we were being told how to hide under the table if the bomb went off. See, after the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, we got one-time Saturn-Pluto sextile, which will be pretty cool. And then we're into 2 years of Uranus trine Pluto. And I am so looking forward to that. But we've got to get through the rabbit hole first and out the other side. And all of these Saturn aspects that we're going through, the Saturn sextiling Uranus, which is ongoing from now through to January, on the one hand trying to bring a fresh degree of structure into the developing chaos, whilst at the same time revolutionising the limitations that we're currently struggling under, changing boundaries, both personal and collective, from concrete and steel into transparent rubber and elastic, and learning how to bend the old ways without breaking them, but bending them. And Saturn conjunct Neptune one time. Neptune helping dissolve all of the old structures and limitations. And Neptune working with old boundaries, releasing them and letting them go. And then Saturn bringing structure into the imagination at the same time. So a dissolution of old structures and boundaries, whilst an emergence of something new in the collective that talks of a new political environment. You heard it here first, February next year. Followed by Saturn sextile Pluto. Hopefully that's going to involve a transformation of the old structures into something fresh, whilst at the same time helping us individually come to terms with our own psychology in a way that's simply not happened before. And then, once we finish with Saturn and all of the restructuring and the boundary resetting is over, then we get Uranus trine Pluto for 2 years. I am so happy about that. And of course, it's an ongoing cycles. It never stops. The Earth goes round the moon. Did I just say that? The moon goes round the Earth. The Earth goes round the sun. The planets go round the sun. But the solar system very slowly goes round the galaxy. And the galaxy goes round the centre of our local supercluster. And none of it is circular because it's all spiralling. So the pattern constantly changes. This is why some of the constellations no longer match the signs of the zodiac as they were 2,000 years ago. Without change, you get entropy, which leads to decay. And all change, even the difficult change, is good for us because it forces us to adapt and evolve. And we are on the biggest point of concentrated evolution in human history. And that's why I'm doing this gig this weekend. I never thought I'd get here. I honestly thought, I was worried that the world situations might cause everything to melt down at the last minute. But now I'm leaving to go off and organise shifts happen in a couple of days. And there's going to be people from 26 different countries there. And there's going to be over 100 people there in person, plus another 100 streaming. We're going to close ticket applications Wednesday night, UK time, latest. I'll do my best to broadcast from there because it's a one-time situation. I don't think we may do it again in the future, but the first one is always the most magical. And this is going to be a magical occasion. I will post 1 or 2 little vignettes of myself and that nice Mr. Levine doing our Waldorf and Stadler impersonations from the Muppet Show. There will be fun and some very serious astrology and a lot of community, and it will be immersive, and I am so looking forward to it, and I'm so looking forward to a lot of sleep afterwards. Meantime, it is safe now to come out from underneath the bed. We are through the worst. At least for the short to medium term. So, it's not time to put out the banners and start partying, but you can take a deep sigh of relief and you can start becoming just that little bit more optimistic about the future. More on this over the coming few days. Catch you later, folks. Bye.